So how I summarize the things that I do, because I do so many things, is that people development and business development. But most of what I do is mainly just working with people, because that's kind of like what I love. So I always say that who I am is a child of God, but what I do is just an extension of who I am. So everything else that I do is just an extension of the love that I have for people, the love that I have for seeing people grow, the love that I have for people seeing, achieving their goals, I think. So with that said, when I was preparing for this, I was thinking, okay, how am I going to introduce myself, and how am I going to start, and how am I going to introduce the topic? And I was thinking, because most of the workshops that I've been doing have been mainly based on life coaching. Like, how do you heal yourself? How do you heal your past trauma? How do you heal all those things? So I've kind of like stepped away a bit from like the marketing side of things, but I had to tap into that for this purpose. And when I was thinking, I was like, actually marketing, a lot of times when we think about marketing, we think about sales, right? Or you think branding, or you think advertising, right? But when I was preparing for this particular talk, I thought to myself, marketing isn't really about that. Marketing is also about human behavior, when you think about it. Who agrees? You guys agree? You're not sure? Yeah. And I'm going to tell you why I think marketing is about human behavior. Because if you build your brand, and it's all about you, and it's all about your product, and not about your customers, you're definitely going to lose out, and you're going to lose a lot of money, right? So that's how Kodak lost out, because they became obsessed with their products, not their customers. Who knows the Kodak story? Okay, 2 people. All right. So in 1977, Kodak invented the first digital camera, right? But they didn't start selling it. They kept it and didn't put it on the market. Why? Because they were obsessed with their product, which is then film, right? And then eventually, the digital became prominent, and Kodak lost out on a huge market segment. By the time they started implementing and putting out their product, it was too late, and had to sell it at a loss, right? So that's one mistake that a big company made. Until this day, who still remembers how many stores were there, like Kodak printing shops and etc., right? And that just shows how old some of us are. So if you look at Kodak already, that's one example. Another example that I can give you is Blockbuster, right? Who went to Blockbuster as a kid? Who goes to Blockbuster now? My point exactly. Why? Because they didn't adapt their product. They became obsessed with their product and not their customers and not their target market. So marketing essentially isn't about sales. It's not about branding. It's not about advertising. The core of marketing is understanding human behavior. And that's what clicked for me when I was preparing this presentation to say, actually, my work is not too far off. Because even in business development, again, understanding people, understanding what they're passionate about, understanding what they love, understanding what drives them, understanding their needs, right? And most companies are losing out because they're obsessed with their product. So if you want to succeed in terms of marketing, after I say this next time, you guys can go home, like it's fine. Grab a snack and go home. I'm joking, like stay for like another 15 minutes. But then, if you want to achieve anything in terms of marketing, you have to fall in love with your clients. You have to fall in love with your customers, right? One of the ladies here has what do you call it, a hair product line, right? And she has to fall in love with her clients, right? She's black, her customers are, you can think your target market is black as well. So when she looks at her customers, what drives them, right? It's authenticity, right? So when you're selling the product, when you're planning your marketing strategy and everything else, you have to think about authenticity. What says, I'm proud to be who I am, right? And that's how now you're becoming more into the customer's mind, right? So you have to look at your customers. What are they passionate about? What are their needs? What are their fears, right? And if you look at any brand, they sell authenticity, they sell an experience. And once you understand what that experience is that your customers are looking for, then you always win. So that was my intro. You guys can go home now. All right. So one of the things that I really want to do is I want to make sure that everybody here leaves with feeling like they got what they came for, right? So I'm going to ask you guys, what is it that will make you feel like this workshop was valuable? What do you want to leave? What did you come here hoping to leave? And then I'm going to write it down. So anybody? Rafida? What were you hoping to leave with me?
I guess just, more confidence to understand the whole social media strategy, marketing
confidence.
It's forever changing, so you just always try to be in a space where people that are in this space will teach you something new.
Okay, confidence in social media. What else?
How to maximize digital marketing.
How to make, so you guys came for digital marketing. I must change my whole presentation, was okay. How to maximize digital marketing. Okay. To maximize. Digital marketing. Okay, what else? Yes, maybe the yellow.
Hi,
Mustard.
my name is Ayana. I'm a parent coach.
Okay.
So I really want to learn how to better speak my message authentically so that it can connect with my parents better.
Speak your message more authentically. Speak message. Okay? Two more. Yes.
I'm in retail.
Okay.
Indirectly.
Yeah.
And everything about what I do is about marketing.
Yeah.
It often gets funneled into social media.
Yeah.
Digital marketing
Yeah.
only. And I suppose I want to just be exposed to just like refocus on
Refocus on?
the broader aspects.
Okay. Refocus. Ooh, broader aspects. All right, one more. The odd thing about writing stuff down on boards is that if you like your spelling is terrible, then everybody knows. All right. All right. Yes.
Turning, I guess, marketing efforts to sales.
Turning marketing efforts to sales. All right, so these are our group outcomes. Confidence in social media, how to maximize digital marketing, speak message more authentically, refocus on the broader aspect, my handwriting, turning marketing efforts to sales. All right, so those are our main points, and I'm going to cover these broadly. And some of you guys, some of the things will be textbook stuff that you learned, and it would be just to go back, I think, to the basics of marketing. I think that will be some, for some of you it will be more like a reflection of what you know already, and for some of you guys it will be completely new stuff. But I'm hoping that all of these will be met at the end of this. All right, so I'm going to start. Alright, so the first thing I have a whole slide prepared for you guys, but because of the lighting, we can't use it. So it's here, if you're wondering. Alright, so let me move this forward so I can actually move it. Alright, so the first thing is that your customer is a person. Right? Your customer is a person. Right. So you need to get into, so I have a picture of a person here. So imagine a Jam, or a Thomas, or a Belinda, or a Samuel, right? Your customer is literally a person. You have to give them a name. That's the basis of it all. You have to understand who your specific customer is. What do they look like? Oh, yay! Yes! This is our, like, yeah, our slide. So your customer is a person, right? So this is the person that I had evidence that I did prepare for this. Alright. So who is your customer? Your customer is literally a person. So you need to get into their head and don't see them as I think when you get into marketing too much, you become more about the stats and about this and about all these things. But you have to wind it down to it just being a person. Right? We can move on to the next slide.
Plus, you need to fade in.
Do you want to move on to the next slide and then I can actually go forward? Yes.
All right. All right. So you have to literally give your customer an identity, right? For each of. So when people ask, who are you selling this product to? When I ask my clients, oftentimes it's like, who's this product for, right? And they'll say, everyone. I'm like, no. Your product is not for everybody, right? There's a specific niche or a specific person or a specific group of people that you're targeting, right? So you have to give your customer, give them a name. That's the first thing. So figure out if your customer is like a Jabu or a Sagi or an Amelda, because your customer is the person that you're trying to reach. Next thing is, where do they live, right? Who is this person? What's their gender, first of all? What's their sex? How much do they earn? What do they do for fun? Where do they hang out? What do they eat? So this is basically how I tell my clients how to do things, right? So I'll say, picture a day in the life of your customer, whoever they are. So if you have a specific product that has a particular niche, let's say it's a low-end product that may be sold in a store like Perch, for example, right? And you have to think around your customer's needs. When they wake up in the morning, right, what do they eat? Start there. And then when they go into work, what mode of transport do they take, right? I'd guess you it's probably the Ravaya, probably a train, probably a taxi, right? So if let's say your customer is a Jabu, right, and we're selling a paraffin stove, right? Jabu would buy the paraffin stove. What does Jabu's day look like from the day he gets up? And like literally you have to travel with Jabu. Is Jabu probably on social media if he's a contractor and he's working about 12 hours in a day? No, he's not. So why are you trying to sell a product to Jabu on social media, right? And that's why it's important to understand who is your specific customer. What do they look like? What does their day look like? And I've simplified it so much that it doesn't matter whether you studied marketing or you've gone through how many textbooks. You can literally just understand your customer. So I'm also going to tap into what if your customer is a business-to-business type of vibe or a specific person within a business. So this will also help guide you into that, right? So, thank you. Yeah. What's the agenda? What mode of transport do they use? Do they value family? What are their values? What do they care about? Do they go to church on a Sunday? What do they believe in, right? Really step into your customer's mind. So I'll use an example of, for me, right, okay, on the coaching side, that's pretty much everybody because who doesn't want to improve their lives, right? But I still have to tap into what do my customers care about, right? Everybody wants to improve their lives. Who in this room doesn't want to improve their life? Right? Who doesn't want to achieve focus in their lives? Who doesn't want to make money? Right? So in that space that literally broadens it, but I can speak into specific things. Like right now, I know that the trends within society and the specific customer that I have is depression. It's anxiety. It's fear of failure, fear of losing my job, right? So that's why I say marketing is about understanding human behavior. It's not really about the product, because if you focus on the product, you're going to step away from your customer. And if you step away from your customer, you're going to step away from making money. So you have to care about the customer first for them to care about your product, right? So you really have to step into your customer's mind and look into, you find if it's a hair product, if it's a clothing line, right? Who wears your products, right? What type of personality do they have? Where do they hang out? That's another one, because once you know where they hang out and spend their time, you know where to put the ads. Right. So if you know that your customer spends time on social media 6 hours a day or 3 hours a day, you know your ads should be there. If you know that your customers maybe spend time in Lamborghini shops and at polos, you know to put your advertising there, right? If you know your customer is probably at Perch, right? Maybe they're an SME owner, right? Or a business owner, then you know to partner with Perch, right? So when you understand your customer journey in every single day of their life, you know who to partner with. And this is where a lot of people get it wrong with influencer marketing too, because they don't understand their customer. So then they choose the wrong person to represent their brand, because that person doesn't look like their customer at all, and it's not relatable at all. And again, you find wrong partnerships. You find maybe you put a billboard out, and you could have saved money and used maybe 1,000 rand to create a digital marketing strategy. Not a digital marketing strategy, but a digital marketing campaign where you just spend 1,000 rand and you reach the people. But if you know that this person is going to be on the Ravaya every single day of their lives, wouldn't you rather just spend 500 rand distributing flyers on the Ravaya? right? Where you reach your actual target market relative to going on social media, then going on radio, then going on to all these places whereby they're not even reaching your target market. And I've seen this mistake also in spaces like PR, where somebody will have an event, right? But because they don't understand the target market, they'll put you on platforms on radio which are not incongruent with your customer, right? So you'll be on Metro FM, but your customers are on Pada Pada FM, right? Or your customers are on UJFM, because if you understand that your target market is students, then you know that's where your customers are. If you understand that your customer is always thinking about politics, what do they care about? Do they have children? What do they eat? Where do they hang out? What are they concerned about? What moves them? What motivates them, right? So if you know that your specific customer cares about politics, then you know to go to Power FM, SAFM, 702, right? So again, within the different branches of marketing and branding and PR, it always boils down to the same thing, which is this part right here. Wow, I don't want you to buy the flyer. But this is the cue. Right, so I have sample study over here. And this is sample study. So for those of you guys who find that maybe your target market is somebody within an organization, right? And if you have an NPO, who here has an NPO? And maybe wants funding for it. Okay, we have two ladies in the back. All right. So if you, for example, you have an NPO and you need funding for it, so what people will do is they'll just send a letter and email it maybe to marketing. But marketing doesn't care about CSI, depending on how big that company is, right? But usually companies have a specific person for CSI. And then you ask for that person's email. That's your target market. So you need to know what's that person concerned about, right? What moves them. So this is sample study, and she represents the person within the corporate company. Who's concerned about you? So if maybe who wants to improve their personal brand, maybe? Who wants to improve their personal brand? Make money, influencer money. We all want that influencer money. Yeah. So that's another thing again. So if you want to improve your personal brand, you have to email somebody within a company, right? So that person is usually PR or marketing. What does that person care about? They care about numbers, right? How many numbers do you have? So you need to make sure you know what value you're going to add today, right? So find out who your customer is and what they care about. And this is another mistake that a lot of people make. They always go and say, what can you guys do for me? Or they'll put the pitch in the wrong way and say they won't communicate their own value to that person, right? So you need to know, what does that person care about? If it's CSI, most big corporates don't really care about CSI and giving. They care about numbers. They care about, will people see this promotion that we're doing? Will people see us giving to this organization? That's what they care about, really, right? How much impact is this going to get? Do you have 2,000 people showing up at your event? Why should we sponsor it? So that's also if you're looking for sponsorship as well. Who's your customer? And what do they care about? What moves them, right? Usually, for those people, it's numbers. Right, so sample Sally over here says her background is head of human resources. She's worked at the same company for 10 years. She worked her way up from HR associate. She's married with 2 children. Her demographics are age 30 to 45. She is a dual H8 income of $140,000. You guys can convert that into rands. Suburban. She identifies as a calm demeanor. Probably has an assistant screening calls. She asks to receive collateral mailed printed. All right. So this is basically just, once you understand what they care about, once you understand their age group as well, then you understand their thinking. And if you can understand their thinking, then you can run with